Hey everybody! So I thought I'd do a little bit of Habs news of the day today. Why not? It's a bit quiet as far as I can tell. I couldn't find anything really big to do on the Habs today. Got things in the works, but I thought I'd do news of the day today, so we'll get right into it. So one of the stories out there, again, they're talking about Montreal shopping Phil Deneau around the league, but it's not really that they're shopping Phil Deneau around the league. They're actually kind of testing his market value, and apparently they're receiving a bunch of phone calls. Teams are interested in Deneau, so but they're not officially shopping him around the league. They're just trying to see what he's worth, just in case they have to, I guess, so that they can plan if they have to trade him. Know what kind of what they can probably get back from teams by doing that. So I think it's pretty normal. I said it before. It's pretty normal. I think Habs. I think teams do that a lot with players. Test their market value without trading them. So I don't think Deneau's getting traded anywhere. I really don't. I think Deneau's going to stay here for a while. Saw an interesting article, and right away I screamed, "No, no, no!" And it was about should Montreal try to get Phil Kessel from the Coyotes. Let's see now. Kessel is 32 years old. He's got 2 years left at 6.8 million AAV, which is average annual value. That's what goes against the cap. And the guy in the article was saying like maybe for a second round pick they could pick up Kessel because he didn't have a great season. 70 games, 14 goals, 24 assists, 38 points. I said it in my video when I did a video about Kessel. I don't know if it was just about Kessel or in one of the news of the days way back when he went over to the Coyotes. I said he wasn't going to have a good season, and I was right. So I think it's risky. He's 32. He's not in his prime anymore, or just at the end of it. His last 2 seasons haven't been great. So I mean, he's capable of great numbers. But is he still capable of great numbers? That's the thing. He was capable, I should have said, of great numbers. I don't know if he still is. I think it's risky, and I don't like Phil Kessel. Don't ask me why. It's just one of those things I don't like him. So I say no, no, no to getting Phil Kessel. Another former, no, he's not a former Hab. A former Hab in the news, Alex Galchenyuk. That's on this side. So former Hab Alex Galchenyuk is a UFA this offseason, and there are fans that want to see him back in Montreal at a cheap price. So now I don't think it's any really like writers, but I see this on Twitter a lot. People say, "Yeah, Galchenyuk's available. Get him for like $1.5 million. Play him on the wing." Blah blah blah. No. I wrote here why. Like what can he contribute here? If we go pick up Alex Galchenyuk, for what purpose? So he can get 15 goals on the right wing and we'll be very disappointed in him. He won't take the coaching that he's given and blah, blah, blah. His father is there talking in his ear. No. Galchenyuk was here once. Don't need him back. He'll find himself on his 5th team in just over 2 years. Imagine 2 years and he's going to be on his 5th team wherever he lands up. So let's go. We traded him to Coyotes. So Montreal, Coyotes, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and then whatever team he ends up in. Yeah, so this will be his 5th team if he comes to Montreal or wherever he goes. Not happening. I don't see Montreal going after a guy like Galchenyuk. They need a scoring winger, a guy that can actually score. And I think that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for a guy like Galchenyuk. Next up. Is Marc Bergevin using the cap space correctly? So this is based on another article I read. So Ken McMillan, he wrote an article, I think it's for A Winning Habit. So I read that, and it's questioning whether Marc Bergevin is using Montreal's $14 million in cap space that they had before the Jake Allen deal. If it's using it properly after not using it at all for the past 3 seasons. So he's questioning. What did I write here? Questioning why. I wrote over this. It's hard to explain. He's questioning why Alex Radulov and or Andrei Markov weren't signed since Montreal never used the cap room that they had for anyone else over these last 3 years. And why go so aggressively now when it's a flat cap that we're working in, a flat cap world that we're in at the moment? So the answer for that, in my opinion, by the way, is for exactly the reason of the flat cap. Montreal has an opportunity to fix the problems this team has and get them into a possible contender status by going at teams or making deals with teams that have cap problems, cap issues, or can't sign like they did with Edmundson. Carolina wasn't going to sign him. They wanted him. They traded for him to get his rights, and they signed him. You got to do things like that, you know. I think he's doing a good job. Look, Jake Allen is on a one-year deal right now. He's got 1 year left at $4.35 million. Is $4.35 million what I'd want to pay him? Ideally, no. But it's 1 year, and you have the cap space. Next year, if you want to re-sign him, he's not making $4.35 million. Not at his age. He's a backup goalie. Nah. He's going to come in at a price that's going to be like probably $2.5 million if he re-signs. So that's not a problem, and that's not a bad move getting a guy like Allen, and it doesn't affect you in any way. So I don't think that's an issue that should be looked at and wondered, is he spending it properly? I don't think so. By the way, there's an interesting story with Jake Allen. I was talking to a friend, Pat, just before I filmed this. Apparently, Montreal was interested. Let me see if I get it right. They were interested in Dubnyk before from Minnesota. They were really going after Dubnyk apparently, and I don't remember what was interesting about the story. Are you old enough to remember Saturday Night Live? Emily Latella, and she would make mistakes, and when they told her she was making mistakes, she would say, "Never mind." Yeah, never mind. There's something about Dubnyk. They were interested in Dubnyk before they got Jake Allen, and I just forgot the reason why that's interesting, because it's not that interesting. But for me, Dubnyk is a starter. I think that would be a problem if he didn't want to be a backup, where Allen wants to be a backup. Oh, this was the interesting part. See, I remember. Minnesota was willing to hold back, retain part of his salary. He's making 4.35. Same thing I think as Allen. And Minnesota was willing to retain salary. Why did they go for Allen instead of Dubnyk? And I think because Dubnyk's the starter, and you don't want that problem in the room between him and Price, or that he's unhappy because he's not getting enough starts. Allen knows his role, and he's going to play his role, and he'll take whatever starts he gets, and I don't think that'll be a problem. I think Allen was the better, for me, I think Allen was the better way to go. What else did he say? I said that. So with Domi and Mete, oh no, I will Joel Edmundson first. Joel Edmundson's contract isn't a problem. Did I put it up here? Look, we're going to talk about him, but look, his contract, 4 years, $3.5 million AAV. For a guy who's going to be your fourth defenseman, I don't think that's overpaying. And we'll talk about Edmundson in a sec. They say he's not mobile and he's not this and that. I don't really agree with that. So, and we'll talk about reasons why I think Edmundson will be a good fit here in Montreal. So we're going to get to that. But Edmundson's contract is very tradable. So say it doesn't work out. $3.5 million. He's only going to be 28 next year, 29 the year after. I mean, it's not, I think 27, 28, 29, 30, whatever. He's going to be 31 at the end of the contract. Still won't be old, so he's going to have a very tradable contract. That's not an exorbitant price to pay for him. So it's the Sherratt contract with 1 year added. I mean, it's not a bad thing. He does have, well, we'll talk about that. So yeah, so I don't think the money is too high, and I don't think the term is too long with Edmundson. So again, I don't think he did a bad job there spending the cap money. With Domi and Mete to sign, because they got to sign Domi and Mete or trade them, whatever. It's either sign them or trade them. They're both RFA, so they just really need to be qualified. That's really all they need to be, and then they decide whether they're holding out or not, or obviously negotiate and make a deal. Domi's been in the news about, or in the rumors about being traded, and now Mete is, because of the Edmundson acquisition. A lot of people think Mete is going to be traded. I don't, because I think Kulak is your better value, So if you're going to trade and you want to get somebody good back, I think you got to trade your better value, since he's probably not going to make it in the lineup. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think he's your best guy to put in there. And Mete can play the right side. That's what I wanted to say. So Mete can play the right side. I don't know if Kulak can, but apparently Kulak's never played the right side. Mete has. Gives him a better value there. So they've got to sign Domi and Mete or trade whatever. So they've got that, but apparently there's like 10 million left still. There's room to sign Domi and Mete and still pick up somebody. Not a ton of room, but you might have to make another deal. You send somebody, pick up somebody. Anyway, they're looking for a scoring winger at this point. I don't think he's spent too much on the cap. I think with next year, with all the players they got to sign, but remember that there's a lot of guys coming off the cap. Leaves them a lot of money, so they can make moves and jiggle around. I don't think it's a problem. I do agree. I will say I do agree. It doesn't kind of make sense in a way that he could have signed Radulov. He could have signed Markov. They could have been here for that time. Radulov would probably still be here. Markov probably wouldn't. And he never used the cap money, and he could have done it. You could look at it that way. You could. But he was trying to manage the cap, and you have to leave room, and that's the way he was. And I don't blame him for that. But I guess you could say that he could have done that. But I don't think it means anything with how he's going forward right now. And I think that he's doing a good job so far. I'm happy with the moves. And yeah, so let's talk about Edmundson for a few minutes before the video goes too long. So just a few facts, I guess, about him. So like I said, he's got a 4-year deal. They just signed it yesterday, $14 million, which works out to $3.5 million on an annual average value. He does have a 10-team modified no-trade clause. So if they want to trade him, he can give them a list of 10 teams that he doesn't want to go to. This also changes something people were talking about, and that is he'd be able to be exposed to Seattle in the expansion draft, but that's only if he agrees to it. So he would have to say, yes, you can do that, and he would agree to that. Then he can be exposed. With a no-trade clause like that, he can say, no, I don't want to go to Seattle. That's one of the teams. So I don't think he'll be exposed in the expansion draft, which makes it a little harder to protect everybody. But I do believe there are some more moves coming, and we'll see how that shakes out and who gets moved, and that could really kind of make a difference in obviously who's going to be protected or not. So it seems like they're going to want to protect him if he's got a no-trade clause and he doesn't have to agree to it. So we'll see how that works out. He speaks French. Now, I know for all my English viewers, doesn't mean much, but he speaks French. He took 9 years of French immersion where he grew up in Manitoba, and he said he's going to have to talk on the phone with his grandmother because he's rusty. But, it doesn't mean that much, but what it means is he'll fit in here. It'll be easier for him to fit into the city where there's a lot of French being spoken. So when you don't speak it and you're, whatever, you feel kind of, I guess, like you're a visitor. And if he speaks French, he'll be able to feel more like he's part of the city and everything. I think that's only good for how he'll fit in. And I'm happy with that. So we'll see how that works out. He said size was a factor in St. Louis in their success, and he sees similarities here between Montreal and St. Louis. So that's a nice. I mean, he's a Stanley Cup winner. Don't forget, he won the Stanley Cup with St. Louis in 2019. He says he can skate. He's mobile enough, and he can skate and keep up with faster forwards. A lot of people say, why'd they go out and get a very immobile defenseman? I don't think he's as immobile as people think, so I think it'll be fine. He does have some issues. I don't say he's perfect defenseman, but I think it's a second pairing. That's what I was looking for. Defenseman. Apparently, he's going to play well in the system here in Montreal. He didn't in the way Carolina's system is for defense, but apparently this kind of system he thrived in St. Louis, so that's a good thing. He wants to play a leadership role in Montreal like he did in Carolina as a 26-year-old, so now he's 27. He thinks both in the room and on the ice he can be a leader. That's a good thing. Should play with Petrie, I think, on the second pairing. He hasn't played third pairing since his rookie season. Everybody's saying that he should be third pairing defenseman. I don't see it. I don't see them putting him on third. I think Alex Romanov, will ease his way in. If he makes the team, Alex Romanov will ease his way in the first year on the third pairing. I've said that for a while, so not just now. So I think that's how it'll work out. So I think second pairing, that's where he's going to be, number 4 defenseman. He is a number 4 defenseman, except in his first season. That's the only time he wasn't. So I don't see that changing. His father, by the way, why he speaks French, I forgot to say that. His father's side of the family is French, and they're a huge Habs fan. His father's a huge Habs fan. So he said, his quote, "It's a dream come true," unquote, to be a Montreal Canadien. So when he was traded, before that, he was going to test the market and see what his value was and maybe sign somewhere else. And because I don't think there was room for him on Carolina, so he was going to go to the market, obviously. When he got traded to Montreal, he said there was no question he was going to negotiate a contract with Montreal. He wasn't going to go test the market. He is excited to be a Montreal Canadien. That's a good news. Hey, that's a good news. That's a good news. That's good news. And, we need guys like that. It's a shame what's happening with Domi, because Domi came here and he was rah-rah, wanted to be here. We need guys like that. So if there's a way to keep Domi here, we build up a group of guys that are all rah-rah and so happy to be here. It can only benefit the team and make for better future success. So that's my little bit on the Edmundson deal. I just wanted, a few things about him. I think it's a good deal. I don't think he's overpaid. I don't mind the term because I think it's a very tradable deal. And he's only 27. He's young. He won't be that old. It's not like he's 33. You're giving him a 4-year deal. It's not like that. He'll be 31 at the end of the deal. There's nothing wrong with that. So, and the money is fine. $3.5 million is what Sherratt is being paid. They're very similar type of defensemen. Maybe Sherratt's a little better. Maybe Edmundson's a little better. I don't know, but I think Sherratt might be a little better. But they're very similar type of defensemen. It's the same contract, 1 year added to it. So there you go. That's my news of the day. Sorry it's so long to get all this out. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Give a thumbs up if you liked it. And while you're down there, there's 2 things you got to. Yeah, you can leave me a comment about any of these stories that I'm talking about here. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. And while you're down there, if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and ring that notifications bell. That's going to get you your daily fix of Blue, Blanc, Rouge right here at Talkin' Habs. Thanks for watching, everybody. Really do appreciate that. Please stay safe out there with everything going on. And peace out, y'all. See you next video. Bye, everybody.